All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever R.E.B.E.L label podcast. My name is Arii.Gorve. I am here today with
DMarx. Yo.
Awesome. Where can I find you on social media, man?
Social media, you can find me on all social media at DMarx with an underscore at the end. You can go to interstatefamily.com or DMarx.org to find my official website. You can find all my music on Spotify, Tidal, iTunes, everything else. DMarx.
Oh yeah, keeping it official. And you can find me. I'm a local Portland artist. You can find me at Arii.Gorve on Instagram, Facebook, all that good shit. So, to start off, you talked a little bit about Interstate Family. So what is that?
It was just like it's like a collective, something that I put together with my buddies. I always really admired, how the freeway connected all the people. If that was like the veins of America, people would be the blood vessels flowing through it. And, 70% of all interstate traffic the year I kind of came up with it was coming to Portland because we were all blowing up. The city's gotten a lot bigger in the last couple of years, so I was like, Interstate Family, tie us all together. So I came up with that, kind of just coined it, trademarked it, did the all paperwork and stuff. Nice. Got my business started.
That's good. I like that twist, too, because interstates were meant to separate families. Like, they put up, that's what they did in fucking Chicago, Detroit, all major cities. Like, they put up interstates to separate black and white families. Like, that is a fucking thing. That's, like, in paperwork and shit. And so, I don't know if you know that, but, like, that's a fucking awesome tie-in.
Yeah, that's crazy, because that makes the crossover even, more monumental than I could have ever thought.
Yeah. It's crazy how, there's levels to shit sometimes that you don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you're like, I don't know about you, but, when I'm writing a song sometimes...
I was just going to say that, bro.
I'm writing out the lyrics, and then I think back, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck do these mean? And I'll show them to somebody, and they'll be like, oh, you're talking about fucking this, and this. And I'm like, yeah. No, totally. I'm absolutely, you know what I mean?
Like when you look back at some song lyrics, you're like, damn, this shit is deep, son. But you didn't really write anything. You're just kind of coming up with some random stuff. Emmeline in the house. That's my cat.
Oh, there you go. What's your cat's name?
Emmeline.
There you go. Good vibe. I like the cat.
Yeah.
I like the cat. So, what got you interested in making hip-hop?
Mushrooms. I took mushrooms once, and after, it was on the snow day in, 2008, 2009. We did mushrooms. We went snow skating all day. And then afterwards, I had to walk all the way home from my buddy's house, which was, at the time, 60th and Gleason. If you live in Portland, I lived over in, northeast Portland, Sabin neighborhood, you know what I'm saying, right around Irvington and whatnot. So I walked all the way from there to there, and it was, snowing, and I just freestyled the whole time. Probably said, motherfucker a million times, but it worked out. It made everything work out, and then after that, I wrote my first rap, and then I was kind of like, this is what I want to do. Kind of just kept it in the back of my head. I'd freestyle at parties, and then one day this kid, D-Lo, Lawrence Sites, he invited me to his studio. His dad's pretty loaded, so he had his big-ass house up in the Alameda Hills, and we recorded my first, studio mixtape there. So I got kind of hooked up with that, and, I made that work out.
Did the mushrooms tie in a lot when you first started?
Well, it was like when I came down, I was in this weird high, you know what I'm saying? Now you're perma-fried afterwards, It's definitely I don't know, it's like a life-changing experience to do any sort of psychedelic, but that was definitely a turn of the moment for me because that was the first time I ever rapped, period. I had never rapped, or I had never even freestyled, period. I can remember the first time it was,
really?
And that was excited. After I took mushrooms, I freestyled.
So what's your opinion on those drugs? Do you think they should be legal?
I don't know. I don't want to really speak on the legality of drugs and whatnot. It's all a big old system. You can always talk about how positive it is, negative it is, but I think that free the weed should be legal everywhere. But as far as everything else, it should be used at your own discretion. I don't think people should be prosecuted as heavily as we are right now. But at the same time, I wouldn't know what to do personally myself, so I can't really make a suggestion of what would be better. If the weight fell on my shoulders tomorrow and they were like, what should we do about all this shit? I wouldn't want to make that decision, so
Yeah, because the thing that's crazy to me is, as somebody who doesn't smoke weed, but, used to in the past, people never think about how, especially being in Portland, how smoking weed is so normal, but people would judge me on the street for smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
But
that's crazy.
But people never think about how I don't like the smell of weed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and whenever I bring it up, people are kind of like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why I don't talk about it too much.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I love weed. I love smoking weed. You know what I'm saying? I like to engage in recreational drugs, but you know what I'm saying? I know the risk that I take when I do, so But I feel like, educating people would be better than,
Yeah.
Making demonstrations out of people,
Yeah, and that's a good point, because when you go through the school system, all they talk about is how dangerous everything is.
Yeah.
But they don't tell you, like, in reality what those things are like a solid education.
Yeah, and it's like if you knew that it was like, less dangerous for you to do this, but you knew how it affected you psychologically and how it'll affect your family and other things, you'd probably be more, lenient on it. Now the thing is, we don't educate anybody about these things. We don't really tell them anything that's going on. So somebody that, has never done, acid or cocaine or some shit before, they might, be like, well, this isn't as bad as anybody told me. I'm definitely not dead the first time, so it can't be anything like anything they've told me at all. Yeah. So then it's like kind of on yourself to, self-educate and test your limits. And, that's how science works, is taking tests and recording data. And, if you're not a trained scientist, you could blow up real quick.
That's true. So how long have you been testing your limits?
I've been getting high since I was like 7th grade. Yeah, first time was at a party with my homies Mike and Joel, and we stole some. What we did? No, I stole some money from my mom. I think I stole like $2 from her, and they had some more money because at the time, all you needed is a dime. I swear weed was stronger, but we were also younger. But we got a dime of weed, and then we went and lurked over to this party where there was a bunch of older cats. My homie Jackson's. His brother was in high school. They were like freshmen or sophomores. And a bunch of kids that we knew skating growing up that we looked up to were like there. So we were like, oh, this is the in crowd. You know what I'm saying? There was like Baca and Kale and Manny. And these dudes were all like legends for like all the little skaters back in the day. Yeah. And so we see all these dudes. We're like, oh, yeah, it's lit. And they're all drinking beer. So we're like, we're going to get fucking drunk. Next thing you know, we're all like, 13 smashed, falling up and down the stairs, smoking weed, more weed. I mean, it was like, you can't really remember because it's like, you don't black out, but it's like the night's just crazy. It's like a super bad episode. And yeah, after that, the rest is history.
That's a dope story.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what else has been a major influence in your music besides like drugs?
That's not like the biggest influence. It definitely made some things happen, but the biggest influence for me was definitely just like growing up around music, man. I mean, being in Portland, like, it's crazy because it's like, I don't know, it's like, you hear about other places where they don't have engaged arts in a lot of schools and whatnot. Yeah. And, like, that was never a reality for me. And,
That's awesome.
Like, I grew up in, like, bunch of different, like, not, like, a bunch of different neighborhoods. But, I knew people from all over town. And I had friends and family all over town, deeply rooted. So it's like, being woven into all that. There's all these creative people here. So I just knew I was always into shit that was creative. I liked to draw. That was an avenue I liked. Graphic design, it's like I have a bunch of I like all creative trades, but music's definitely the one that I'm focusing on because it's like the one I feel most confident about.
Do you ever still pursue any of those avenues, like doing graphic design? And
yeah, all the time. Like,
nice.
You can look online. There's mixtape covers that I like make myself.
That's awesome.
Little things like that. It's nothing heavy. I don't know how to work Adobe like that, but I got apps and shit.
Yeah.
Just shit that I like to dabble in, tinker around, and see what happens.
Well, that's the awesome thing about being an independent artist now. Yeah. It's like you got fucking all the tools at your fingertips. Yeah. It's just about how much you're going to utilize them.
Yeah, how much time's on your hands, and what you got going on, how you utilize your time. For a while I was more focused on, designing stuff, and I was running a clothing company and kind of had music on the back burner. I was trying more to, like, micromanage all my homies and do all this other stuff. Yeah. But, it kind of just turned into a burden, too much work, and I just, like, wasn't really feeling the fruits of my labor, so I kind of decided to focus more on my craft and hone in on one thing, because the thing was I was just spread really thin at the time. I just got home from prison and stuff.
So you were talking a little bit about the Portland public education system. What do you think about that whole experience, like going through that? Do you think it like benefited you? You said with the arts, but in like other areas, how do you think the school system served you? Because personally, I hear a lot of people just talk so much shit about the Portland public school system.
Yeah, it was pretty trash. I talked my way through high school. I didn't have to I never had good grades and shit. I just didn't want to do the work. It was like, not to sound like pompous or crazy or anything, but I felt like it was always beneath me. I was like, this is a waste of my time. I got, if there's something that I get the first time, I shouldn't have to just keep beating it into my head. It's like an industrialized thing. They're just it's kind of like retaining knowledge opposed to actually learning things or doing things, or all of it just got really repetitive and boring. So I kind of just feel like it's just, I don't know, it's kind of trash. Everything could be updated, but the cool thing that we did have was there's a lot of alternative schools here, and there's a lot of other outlets for people, because I mean the traditional school system definitely, I mean Portland's a weird place, it definitely doesn't catch here big time. I went to an environmental school for 2 years in middle school, and that was pretty cool. I mean, it was like a school focused completely around like how to maintain and treat the environment. I mean, we were doing like not high school curriculum so much, but like, I mean, the structure was a lot different. We had off-campus lunch. We had a lot more freedom than a lot of kids. We went on field trips. Yeah, field trips like once a week, where we'd go to like, literally once a week we'd go to like some place in the community and go help out. That's awesome. We'd learn they taught us how to cook. It wasn't an alternative school, but it was like, it's like a small select, like you had to like raffle to get in, and somehow my name got pulled and I got into this school. That's awesome. It's not like a private school or anything either. It's like public, but it's like, I don't know, it's like a weird system. And I heard field trips every week and I was totally into it. And then when I went there, it's just like, that's all they were about was like art. We did murals in the community, community lunches and dinners. I was in a couple bands and stuff, not like real bands, but like, the homies bands, stuff like that.
How did that affect your outlook growing up? Were you more like community orientated and realizing like, oh, this is something I should like actually focus on? Or was it something that like going into that school just helped come out of you?
Yeah, I mean, it just helped me like get to know more people and get to like, I mean, it definitely influenced my outlook on everything. Your whole upbringing changes your perspective on things. But this school didn't have like a school it fed into. All the kids kind of just separated after that. So it kind of helped me know a lot of people in other places as well. So that helped me like, with socializing, networking, and whatnot.
That's cool. So, what more music videos you got coming out soon? I know we were talking a little bit before this. You were talking about how you got a lot of stuff in the works. Like, what's going on with that?
Yeah, I got a lot of projects in the works. Nothing officially that's mine, but, my brother Julian Hickson, he's got a tape coming out that's featuring me on the whole tape.
Is he an Interstate Family?
Interstate Family's not even really a thing anymore. It's kind of just like a collective,
Okay.
So yeah, everybody who I fuck with, if you know me, if you fuck with me, if you rock with me, you're Interstate Family, what I'm saying, type of stuff. Right now, we're all Interstate Family in the room, you know what I'm talking about? And yeah, so with that, Julian's got a tape coming out, Untitled, featuring me. That's gonna be pretty big. We're working really hard. It's featuring a couple big names.
Yeah, like who?
Excited to, we're gonna keep it under wraps.
All right.
Still trying to.
Okay.
I hate like jinxing things, especially. I mean, like they're already secured, but I would, I gotta be patient, strike at the right time.
Yeah.
But featuring some pretty big people. I got the homie Anvil. He's dropping a tape featuring me. The homie Shoma's gonna drop a tape featuring me. I'm just working on a lot of features right now, trying to get a lot of work done outside of my own.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how long have you been taking the music thing seriously? Like after you took the mushrooms and you started freestyling?
I've been taking it serious, because I like started taking it serious in like 2012, but I started applying myself in like 2015. Yeah, when I got home from prison, and I was just kind of like, this is what I really want to do. Spent all my time in there, damn near 18 months, like focusing on just that. That was like my whole game plan. Start a company, and I accomplished a lot of the goals that I wanted to accomplish since then, and just been continuing to try to progress and create new goals.
Were you in prison for 3 years, or was that
No, it was like 18 months.
Oh, okay.
I got sentenced to 22, 24, got like a couple of months good time. And then alternative incarceration, drug rehabilitation programs.
Is that what you went in there for, drug related issues?
Yeah, a lot of legal issues. For not to touch on the subjects, just because they're kind of,
Yeah, no, that's all right.
You can look my shit up. Look up my name. You can punch in my name. You can find my shit. It's nothing to hide, cocaine possession, delivery, trafficking, stuff like that. Yeah. But I got a lot of it dropped. Had a really good lawyer. And then just kind of like, tried not to turn back. Try not to look back.
Yeah. I was noticing in some of your songs you do talk about that lifestyle. Yeah. And like, is that something that, are you trying to raise advocacy for that and like tell that story from a new perspective, or is it just something that like...
No, I'm into it, man. I love that shit.
That's what you're
like, fuck. I don't know. Criminal underworld's always been fascinating, you know what I'm saying? What's going on with all that shit. It's like a movie, so I like to paint pictures and I like to come up with like cool, vivid things, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I actually lived this lifestyle for a while, so it was cool to like, it's cool to have that be an experience and, if you listen to my songs, there's some stuff about that, but there's also stuff about moving on from that. There's stuff about how happy you are not having to do drugs no more.
Yeah.
Sell drugs no more. Not having to do, all that stuff. Not having, you can make I mean, it's like content, you know what I'm saying? I'm an entertainer. I'm trying to please the people. I can make a song about 100 bitches, but I could also make a song to tell you about my wonderful girlfriend, you know what I'm saying?
Everything's a story. Is that what your music is predominantly about? Is like telling those stories about your life?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I try to tell the stories for like my life and for the life of the people around me. From what I've seen, what I've heard, what I've been told, and just kind of paint a picture for kids in Portland, growing up, being like a mixed race individual, growing up in Portland. You see a lot of crazy stuff. My dad wasn't around when I was younger, so it's like and that's like. It's like there's so many light-skinned niggas out here with that same exact story. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm just representing for my niggas out here. But, that's a common story all the way around the board.
Yeah. It's not just a black thing. That's with everybody. I mean, like, I know, like, personally, that's, like, part of my story, too, And it's always interesting to see how, like, different people deal with that, Because, like, whether you like it or not, like, all the experiences in your life, whether traumatic or not, shape drastically who you are. Yeah. And, like, a lot of the times you can either deal with that in a positive way, even though it's a negative situation, and you can be like, all right, so even though I went through these things, like, I still have something to say about it, and I'm still like a different man because of it.
Overall, I think like what I really wanted to do, I mean, the reason that I got into music was because I wanted to do what I do every day. At the time I was 16 years old, I came up with this idea. I wanted to do what I did every day but get paid for it. And essentially, like, that hasn't worked out at all yet, but hopefully it could. I can see it happening because I mean, this is my life, you know what I'm saying? I didn't plan on doing shit at all today. I wanted to cook a roast, kick back at the house, but my man's called me up and he said, you got to rock with the R.E.B.E.L today. And I was like, you know what I'm saying? Let's get it in. Let's go. Because, I mean, it's just how it goes. I filmed 3 music videos last week. And it's like, it's like doing what I love to do. Hasn't been paying me yet. I have to, work my job until then. But I'm still doing what I love to do. And part of it is, loving to not be at work and shit, you know what I'm saying?
Well, because it's the grind, and I feel like that's what a lot of independent artists like don't understand is you gotta treat it like a business. You know what I mean? Like everything is like you gotta balance the checkbook, and in the beginning you gotta realize that like you're gonna put a lot of money into shit and you're not gonna get a lot out. And I think that discourages a lot of people, and it kind of sucks, because it's like
if rapping wasn't free, a lot of these niggas wouldn't be rappers.
Yeah.
If you didn't have these platforms like SoundCloud and shit, I realized that like in the last like 2 months, 3 months, People will be in your ear. You drop a music video, say we were talking about music videos. You drop a music video, 1 million people will be in your ear about, hey, when are we doing a video for our song? But then when the time comes, you're like, okay, yep, we got it all lined up. We just got to pay the man. Shit, bro, right now is not really the time. Or whatever, you got me. It's like, I like, just got to overcarry and wait for people, man. Feels like you do a lot of work where it's like this anti-progressive thing where like people want you to do work for them or something almost, man. It's like, you gotta work to get where you're at. I love to help people out, but I'll only extend myself a handful of times. You know what I'm saying? If it's like if I hadn't came ready today for this interview and we hadn't got this set up, got this done, I probably couldn't have hollered at you guys if it's popping later and tried to get it going. That's not how that shit works, but everybody thinks it's how it works for some reason.
No, and that's the thing too that has been interesting for me, like venturing into actually like stepping outside of my comfort zone and putting my music out there. Because for me, I've been making music for like a fucking decade, but I've never put shit out, like and actually like put myself out there. And now like actually, no, well I like little shit off on SoundCloud and stuff like that, but never actually like serious about promoting it. And like now, like really being like, all right, so like I'm Arii.Gorve, like I'm gonna embrace who I am and like make music about like myself, and like that's been an interesting thing to me because like I have this professionalism built in me, from like my mom. I got that fucking Cuban immigrant in me, you know what I mean? Like that you gotta hustle for what you fucking want and you gotta go out there and get it. And
but how's that make you feel, the Cuban representing for the Cuban immigrant thing?
And it's interesting too because when I tell people my last name, then it's a whole nother story. But when they just look at me, they assume I'm like European or something.
Man, it's just crazy because in my situation, I've been in this weird fucking parallel where it's like everybody, you know what I'm saying? People like, you hella white, whatever the fuck that means. You're hella white, son. And then people would be like, all my white friends would be like, you're hella ghetto. And I'd be like, well, why is it ghetto, not black, or whatever? Like, it's just weird. Everybody meets me on my white side as soon as my mom's black, and then everybody meets me on my mom's side as soon as my mom's white. My mom is white. I didn't really know my dad pops like that, but there was always this weird thing where it's just like ill place, and then the whole time going on with that, everybody calls me, you know what I'm saying, one of my little aliases, everybody calls me Marco. So then it like ties into this whole, then everybody thinks I'm Spanish, so people think I'm Mexican. It's just like case of mistaken identity for sure is definitely made it more difficult not knowing my father too, you know what I'm saying, trying to find a place.
Yeah.
And it's like so cliche, but you know what I'm saying, music was definitely that place for me where I could
Absolutely.
it's like, you know what I'm saying, that's why, you know, Interstate Family too. Me and my man Swiggle Mandela, head of LFGM, shout out Lil Swag, Big Swag, Free Big Swag, Timmy Hendrix and them. You know what I'm saying? It's like a family affair when you pull up to these shows in Portland. It's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I actually fit in. These people aren't my blood. These are, but you know what I'm saying? I'm closer to them than some of my family. I was just telling my brother today. I was like, I'm not gonna eat dinner with our family for Easter. I don't even know these niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can come see me. You know what I'm saying? You can come fuck with me, but I don't fuck with a lot of my family anymore. Like you know, it's just I fuck with my immediate family, but there's a lot of people that. You know what I'm saying? Friends are the family we choose. It's kind of one of the ideals that I came up with. And it's like, you know, there's a lot of people that are family, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like a guilty by association thing. You're stuck with them. That's not the case. You're allowed to cut off toxic relationships at any point. And last year I got to cut them all off.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that, like, eventually you got to realize that the people you're hanging around is who you're going to become.
Yeah.
You know, and if you hang around people that are, like, doing shit and they're winning and they're, like, getting good things and, like, that's who you're gonna become. But if you're always around people that are either like not doing shit or always talking shit and complaining, you're like, listen, I love complaining like anybody else. Like, I can fucking run my mouth all day, but at the same time, I'm also thinking about what I can do.
Yeah.
Because even though like I talk shit about like all this stuff going on in the world, and I'm like, oh, there's so many fucking problems. I look at my life and I'm like, what can I actually do? And I'm like, oh, music.
Right.
You know.
Like that's what I've always said too. You know, it's like I'll complain all day, but at least I'll get the shit done.
Yeah.
You know. Like, there's people I know who complain and don't get the job done. I'm like, what the fuck would I want to be around you for? It's boring. You're a fucking leech. Shout out to the fucking leeches. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta shake all the leeches off, man. Especially in a city full of river and rain and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Swamps and shit.
Yeah, man. That's the thing about the rain here. I feel like it influences so much more than we understand.
Man, you know what I'm saying? Summer was so cool. Everybody was so cool. I had so many friends this summer. It was popping, man. I was fucking with everybody. Then it started raining. Everybody gets all melodramatic and everybody getting drunk. I mean, you're getting drunk all summer because it's nice, and you're getting drunk all winter because there's not shit to do because it's not summer and you can't go anywhere. And then, fuck, man, it's just, then that leads into this vicious cycle of not doing shit. But, you know, constantly rewarding yourself for not doing shit, so it feels like you're doing shit, you know. I could go get drunk as fuck after this, and my excuse would be that we just did this, but, you know, I could go get drunk as fuck tomorrow and be like, you know, I had a sick interview yesterday. People, you know what I'm saying? People take that Drake line too serious, drinking every night because we drink to our accomplishments. But sometimes they don't accomplish shit.
That's the thing. If you're taking like Drake lines like that serious as life testaments, and I would strongly reconsider you as, because I love Drake, you know, just like everybody else does. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm like, no, I don't think Drake out here is writing this shit. Be like, oh, this is gospel for some people.
Yeah, man. It's like you gonna drink every night because you're drinking to your accomplishments, but at the same time, you're looking at your homie with that God's plan.
Yeah,
God's plan. You got me, man. Come on, bro. It's like I that's why my little handle and everything's a stepdad, man. I've taken care of so many of these niggas, bro. Some of these niggas fucking my kids, but you know what I'm saying? It's all good. I love some of these niggas to death, man, but I won't speak to them no more because you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that shit is hard. That shit is hard. It's the hardest when you care about somebody, but you know you can't fucking talk to them.
Right.
You know
what I'm saying? Or like, you know, you can talk to them, but it's like walking on eggshells. It's like, you know what I'm saying? I shouldn't have to, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to adjust myself to be anybody's homie, so it's like if we don't get along, I'm not going to kick it with a nigga I argue with all the time either. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not going to hang out with, unless if it's genuine, you know, if we're arguing for the right reasons. But you know what I'm saying? Niggas is just bitching all the time and never got shit to do about it. Or niggas just want to come around when you're doing music or where's your video or, you know what I'm saying? if you like, you know what I'm saying. I like to cook dinner, kick it with the homies and shit. Kick it with the homegirls, have everybody come through, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I fuck with you all the way. I'm out there with you. But you can't just, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't like it when people hit me up like, oh, you know what I'm saying? You're doing a song with so-and-so. You trying to let me slide on that, man? Or, yo, you're trying to, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Or it's like, oh, you got a video shoot, you know what I'm saying? Let me come through. It's like, you know, it's always love. My doors are always open, but a lot of people
take advantage of that.
Yeah, they try to take advantage of you and play stupid about it.
Yeah.
Weird.
Are you active in any political issues?
Not really. Just because I don't really like watch the news and I don't keep up with all that shit. I'm voting for Michelle Obama 2020. Yeah. I know that. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, because it's like I said, it's like my views are my own. I don't have to cast them on anybody or really argue about it. I think it's just something that people choose to talk about because they want to argue or shit like that. Yeah. I mean, because realistically, at the end of the day, you can vote for whoever, man. I voted for Hillary. My mom voted for Trump, and she has all ethnic kids. You know what I'm saying? We don't talk politics. That's why I don't do that shit. I love her to death, but we can't. You know what I'm saying? I just prefer not to go there with people. I don't really.
Well, it's true, and almost like when Trump became president, there was this feeling that like, oh, for some reason, suddenly politics is an okay thing to talk about all the time. Yeah. Which here's the thing. I'm glad that that's happening, but at the same time, if you're using that to divide people, then don't fucking use it in that way. Because I'm good with discussions and I'm good with people being out in the open and being like, oh, this is what I believe. Like, you know, say you voted for Trump and you're like, oh, I don't want to be fucking like, I didn't want to do crooked Hillary and all that shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, but don't fucking start screaming at people.
Yeah, people mistake opinions for you know what I'm saying, like right moral standings and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? People act like you're a fucking animal because you voted for somebody or because you fucking wear Adidas over Nike or some shit, you know what I'm saying? People make opinion-based things into facts. That's why some of that shit I try to steer clear, you know what I'm saying? I like to argue, too, about some fashion or some shit, but the thing is, when it comes to politics, I'd rather just, you know, not even have to, I don't got to tell anybody what my views on it or what their beliefs are, because I don't really want to touch on the subject, because that's the thing is, like, a nigga try to, people, you know what I'm saying, you'll lose friends behind that shit, because people are like, you voted for, you know what I'm saying, how inconsiderate that is, and it's like, I don't know, people take that shit, they just take it all too serious, because they act like the president really runs a fucking country. Like, what? Like, you guys think that we know who runs like we know who runs the country and where they're publicly available at, and you know we can track their moves all the time, and they're on Twitter and all that shit. You think that motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's not always about you know who painted the picture itself. Is sometimes it's about who painted it. You know who's behind the scenes. There's something else going on.
Yeah. What else is going on behind there?
I don't really know. Couldn't tell you. You could go on all day. Me and my homie G-Lo. Shout out G-Lo. We were just talking about all that conspiracy bullshit. It's just something to talk about, go on and on about. I don't know what's going on, so I just prefer not to deal with it.
There you go. That's fair. That is fair. Is there anything else you want to talk about? We're about crunch for time.
I'm fucking with that game Fortnite right now.
Yeah? You know your Fortnite grind?
Yeah, I just started gaming again. You know what I'm saying? Because I got a girlfriend and stuff. We got pretty serious, and so I've been trying to be good. So I've been staying at the house, and so instantly I got my PSN back on. You can add me. My thing is I5 DMarx. We could game up. But I got to playing that game. That game's hard as fuck. I haven't won yet.
Yeah, it is. Well, you want to give any last shout-outs before we wrap up here?
Man, I want to give so many shout-outs. I can start with shout-out to Julian Hickson, man, for holding it down. Shout-out my manager, Jose, man. You're killing it. You're always coming up with some new dope shit. Shout out all the Interstate family, man. That's what I'm addressing as all my fans, man. Shout out the whole Interstate family. Shout out to Angelo Williams, G-Lo, man. That's my fucking brother. Shout out to Weez Beats. Shout out Stato. Shout out to Tug. Shout out Nero Gotti. Shout out Mike Caves. Shout out Dre Makes Waves. Shout out everybody in Northeast Portland, Southeast Portland, you know what I'm saying? P-Hive, Chris Lee, Dante Thomas, the whole late great straight crew. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to Jalen. Shout out the Hard Bellies.
Rest in peace to my dog Emma. Free Jose. Free my nigga Jordan Willis. Free everybody that's locked behind bars right now. You know what I'm talking about? Just everybody I'm fucking with, everybody who I didn't name and everybody who I could name. When you're on the spot, it's a lot harder than it is, but you know what I'm saying? Big up.
You did pretty good. You named a lot of people.
Yeah. Wish I could come up with more. Get Rich Grams, Fiji McIntosh, my brother Il Chris up in Seattle, Chapo. Man, let's get this shit. Let's get it.
There you go. All right, my name is Arii.Gorve. This has been the Rebel Label Podcast. Thank you for tuning in with us. Our very first time.
I'm your boy D.Marx. You can find me on all my social media at DMarx with an underscore or DMarx5 on SoundCloud.
All righty, thank you.
Yeah. Dodging cop cars and I'm speeding, sipping water.